Hello, hello.
Mark, how's it going?
Good, mate. Good to be on air. How's it? How's it?
How are things?
Very
You are
good.
in you're in the other side of the world today, eh?
I am in Amsterdam.
Lovely.
So I just give you a little squeeze out the window there. You'll see there's the highway down there.
Yeah, yeah. How's the weather in Amsterdam?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Not too bad. It's
A little vacay, little work vacay.
well, my wife's over here, so doing work, and so I just decided to tag along for the ride.
Oh, you're the plus one.
I am the plus one.
Nice,
Plus
nice.
one. Notice I'm not grabbing a beer today.
No, no. What time is it there?
It is, oh heck, what's the time? 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. All right. So that's an hour later than usual.
That's for me. It is. Yeah. With the time difference. I see we've got a few people on the call today. Mike Hartley is
Hey, Mike.
online.
And Fatih.
So what was that?
Fatih. I'm guessing that's how you would pronounce that. F-A-T.
Yeah. No, this is a great guy. Today he posted on LinkedIn, right, about this happening, and it's got a bunch of engagement. So thanks for that. I think he's based in Ireland, as far as I know. Pavlos,
Awesome.
there, how are you? Day-to-day Dynamics 365. I'm not sure who that is, but welcome.
Maybe they could give us their actual name. Just let us know.
Yeah, so who's day-to-day Dynamics? Who are you really?
Hiding behind the fake name.
As a brand name, I got a brand name there. I don't even know how many people are on because I'm not at my normal rig. I normally have a number telling me how many people are in here. I can't even see anything, so I'll have to watch it afterwards, find out how we're doing.
So day-to-day Dynamics says honest MVP.
It's an honest MVP.
Oh my goodness, let's hope not.
Wow, honest MVP.
I don't know if we can handle honest MVP on here.
Yeah, well, I would have thought that he would have used honest MVP if that was the case.
Malaretti, how are you?
Hey, Mala, good to have you on. I still feel that honest MVP is Pervin Patel.
Do you?
My theory is that, honest MVP, we noticed came online around renewal time for MVPs, and of course, Pervin has to review everybody's contribution. And so I reckon that he was like, some people have put in some crap in here, that are one-upping themselves type thing. And I reckon he jumped on and was like, you know what? I'm going to start honest MVP and call it how it is.
You think it's a tool he's using to kind of smack some people back into off their high horses?
Yeah.
So it looks like day-to-day Dynamics is anti.
Oh, is it anti? Okay.
Yes, but also it looks like he's putting his vote in there for Gus as honest MVP.
He reckons it's Gus.
I thought so too. It seems like the kind of thing Gus would do.
Yeah, valid.
Kind of
valid.
thing. So we got a pretty interesting show today. I think we got quite a few things to talk about, and I think we're going to have two guests on through the episode here today for some folks who are getting sick and tired of looking at bald heads.
Yep, we're going to pull them in and see how that works, as in which is the first time for us to pull people in live.
Yeah. And I just realized that I just screwed up the setup for that one. Sorry about that, Mark.
That's all right. I see your dog's back. What's your dog's name?
This is Jax, Jax.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
very cool.
Again, my wife is off shopping or at lunch with some girlfriends, so she's left the dog with me.
The dog's there. Okay. Let's see. I'm just going to message our first guest. Requested him to come on the call. There you go. I've sent that off. Let's see if she jumps in. And this came about because we had a request from somebody asking about us to discuss AI Builder. So a bit of questions around where AI Builder is going potentially, some thoughts around that. And so
you've thrown that question out without knowing that our guest will get on here, and then we would be stuck having to answer it if she doesn't, right?
Yeah. That's the thing. So I've said to her, please join. I'll just message her again. Please join. Oh, here she is. Julie, how are you? Oh, we'll just unmute you, Julie.
There you go. Should be good.
Well, good morning, guys.
Hey, Julie, how are you?
I am well. How are you?
Good. Are you home?
Excellent.
Colorado, yes. Office not home, unless it's, the home away from home.
Nice. Hey, what's that photo on the backdrop on that screen behind you?
That would be from Scotland.
Ah, very nice, very nice. I thought it was Amsterdam for a minute, and I was like, my gosh, this is a bit meta, but Scotland it is.
So you had a question that came in that we felt like Julie would be the expert to answer.
Yeah, AI builder. Julie, what was the question that you actually had?
So are you going to ask the question, Mark?
Julie, do you have the question?
The question was something about predictions for where it's headed.
Yeah, hang on a second. I'll just try and pull up that post with where I flicked it through.
By the way, Julie, you are our very first live guest on our show.
On here.
Wow, no pressure.
We've had some recorded videos of some stuff on here from people before about questions, but
do you know, I think the person, great, thanks for picking up. Okay, Pavlos asked the question. Pavlos, do you also want to drop into the question area there? What specifically do you want to know about AI Builder?
So let me get this straight. We went out and got someone to answer a question, and then we forgot the question.
I'm not going to say that that's what happened, but here we go. I've actually got the question in front of me now. He said, this is what he said. He said, Mark, is there any way you can touch on AI Builder and how do you think the future will evolve? There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
So it's yours, Julie.
So there's two parts of this. AI Builder, without talking about cost, is an awesome addition. So it makes AI accessible to anyone. And it's all the rage these days. It's super sexy. It's super fun. You load all these photos. You want it to recognize your dog versus someone else's dog or your products or whatnot. And it's awesome. And it's super attainable. It is got great controls that you can use to add into your different apps. It's great. It's a great tool. It works exactly as it's supposed to. For me, the biggest unknown would be the cost.
Mm-hmm.
It's I have the cost been published yet, guys?
I don't think so. It's still in preview, right?
Yeah. So right now it's in preview, so that means it's free for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest unknown is going to be the cost. Is it going to
My
be?
guess is it'll be too high. I'm guessing it'll be. They seem to price all their AI stuff very, very high. They seem to feel that stuff's worth an awful lot.
Well, because I can't do it myself.
Yeah, right.
And so I guess if I had something that everyone wanted that they couldn't do, I would price it high as well.
Mm.
Yeah, and that AI Builder actually doesn't require first party either, right? You can use that right on CDS without any first party. So it's one of those. It's kind of we're seeing more of that now. Some of these kind of things that aren't specifically tied to the first party apps, which is good.
And I think that's a no-brainer, right? I think the first party apps need to evolve in their own rights and be, have their unique functionality and why people will buy them or license those. But I think that things that are kind of core, and AI Builder is now considered core. So we have, when we're at Microsoft Biz Apps, they said the 4 components that wrap around CDS are PowerApps, Flow, Power BI, and AI Builder. Yep. And they saw it as those are the 4 pillars. It's no longer a 3-legged stool, it's a 4-legged stool. And those are the 4 pillars about how Microsoft is thinking of the Power Platform moving forward.
Yep.
Yeah, well, we'll see. My prediction is they price it too high and it doesn't get the traction that it otherwise could.
Yeah. So do we feel, so the first steps is, we've seen some, the ability to do photo recognition and if you like model patterns, etc. What do we see kind of V2 looking like or V3 after that? Do you have any insights into that?
I don't have anything that I can share.
Mm-hmm.
Would you look at AI Builder kind of like Flow versus Logic Apps, right? It's like the citizen user accessible level of being able to create some AI through the builder that really is sitting on top of something that behind it, there's a whole nother level of stuff for data scientists and developers to deal with. And this is just kind of surfacing like a subset kind of like Flow is a subset of logic apps that for that citizen developer. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, I would say that that's a pretty good analogy. Everybody wants it. And so this gives me a way to try it out. And then if I have enough data, then maybe I want to grow up and try something bigger.
Yeah.
Right? It's attainable. It's good for, quote, citizen developers. And so it helps bring it into everyone's environments. But again, is it going to be priced appropriately?
Yeah.
But and you say everybody wants it. I don't know. And it's a conversation I had with Googs about just the AI stuff in general, that Microsoft's kind of pressing the envelope on AI because they've got that's a unique thing they can do competitively.
Right.
And there's lots of customers and clients out there that think, ooh, AI, I need me some of that. But they don't really know why. Yeah, they don't know why. They don't know what it is. It was interesting. I saw there was some post recently on LinkedIn infographic about data scientists and AI. And one of the biggest challenges, like 30%, was lack of a question to answer.
Yeah, I can do that.
It's all this data, but what do you do with it? What do you ask it? And I think the AI builder, I think there's going to be a whole bunch of citizens out there playing with that, creating something that is virtually useless or marginal value at all, and it'll just end up being a little carcass out there, like a lot of probably PowerApps that started and just ended up abandoned. There are going to be more abandoned AI builder projects than any that actually get used, I think.
But what I look at it is that it's an education's life cycle that we're going through at the moment, right? It's that we know that AI is going to play a bigger part in our future in the way businesses run, that type of thing. We can't wait for enough people to be trained as data scientists and then even for them to work out really what problems they're trying to solve. I think what this does is democratize the whole thing of AI. It gets people starting to play with it. No, it's not going to be, it's the first time the Lego blocks have come out, right? We're just learning it. We shouldn't be able to produce something amazing when we're just learning it. But I think it's going to get people to start thinking differently, start thinking about how they consume their data differently, how they start evolving as organizations. And I think this is a great starting point. It's a great tool set to start, because the alternative tool set was to grab an Azure subscription, jump in and turn on the ML engine or the cognitive service.
Power BI.
Most people, they would just be like, that's like, whoa, way over my head. The first time I got into the ML engine in Azure, I was just like, shit, I don't even know where to start in here. Because
it's overwhelming. It really is.
Yeah.
And there are data scientists who understand that, but I understand my business.
Yeah.
And let the data scientist be a data scientist and work with people to give me tools, because I'm the one that understands my business. And no one understands my business better than I do.
Yeah.
You're the only one that can come up with that question. The question that needs to be answered. You're the only one that can come up with the question that needs to be answered for your business.
Yeah. Although in time, I think there's going to be smart people that are going to look at industries like verticals and go, do you know what? This here, AI is a sweet spot. This is, and then companies will come along and go, I want that tech in it. When it's around a real strong or a tight industry niche, if you like.
That same infographic had, I think, as the highest, I don't know what the source of this thing is, but it seems reasonable to me, but it had as the highest impediment dirty data.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so true.
That I think, and that was something else that Googs talked about was, the potential partner opportunity there for cleaning up these, what he called data estates. Because none of this AI goes anywhere on top of dirty data. People will use their little AI builder, build something that looks kind of cool, but it's completely wrong because the data is bad underneath of it. And it'll lead them to reach an incorrect conclusion, possibly make a business decision based on incorrect conclusion from this thing I built on top of dirty data, and screw up my whole damn business. I mean, there's risk there of people just giving them almost too much power there when they don't understand how to even use it.
Yeah.
Well, it's for analysis, and then you have to decide if it's actionable or not,
or accurate, or even
Correct.
reasonable. Yeah. I don't know that a lot of customers even know how dirty their data is. especially when they go through all these, or they know, but and you'll see sometimes you go into some customer, and we've probably all seen it, and you're looking at their deployment, and they're like, why did you create this checkbox on this record? Oh, that's a way for me to tell which records are valid or something. You know, they can't figure out how to clean everything up. So, oh, we put a checkbox on the actual record because we don't know which of the duplicates are. They don't even know how to clean up the dirty data. They're coming up with all these workarounds to work around the fact that they're wading through piles of dirty data to try and get their jobs done. That's if somebody can crack that nut, they're gonna make a lot of money.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you very much, guys.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
See you soon.
Bye.
Okay.
So very cool.
That was our first live. Bring it in. We're going to have one more later on. I just worked out how to send a bit, as in somebody that's on it, to go goodbye to them too, without them having to faff around. I just went boom, and she was gone. So tidy. What do we got? Miranda here. Hi everyone. Are you aware of any existing company pushing for any custom AI solutions built on the Power Platform? Yeah, well, open that up to if anybody's got comments that are watching, or even watching the replay, you can still add your comments into the replay of this video, and they will be seen in line at that point. So,
is he talking about a customer? Are we seeing customer demand for custom AI solutions?
Custom demand for AI.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting because Julie said, you know, everybody wants it, and I don't know if everybody wants it. I think if you
took the Fortune 500 or 1,000 companies, or even 2,500 companies, they have definitely got hardcore agendas on this. They are not going, we're going to become irrelevant because we don't have our AI future down pat.
Yeah, but what Fortune 500 company isn't going to be building this stuff on AI Builder? Yeah, they're going
to be building it in Azure, though. You can be sure, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is that if AI Builder is a tool to get them thinking broadly across their organizations, once again, it comes back to training. They're going to want, we're going to get to the point where AI is is part of our everyday life. I just had someone the other day ask me, should all students learn how to develop? Well, I reckon, yes, they should, because our future is going to involve a lot of development. Now, they might not go on to become a developer, but they should understand the fundamentals of the technology so they're not ignorant into how the world runs, right?
Yeah.
And I think this applies to AI as well. I just think that people fear what they don't know, so you need to get educated.
I think that, and I keep coming back to that dirty data, and that is going to be such a huge opportunity, because this whole AI thing doesn't go anywhere until that problem has to be solved first.
Yeah.
Right. We can build all these, and Microsoft can launch all these wonderful demos and demo videos that are all sitting on top of a perfect data set, and it all looks awesome. And then the first time that customer touches it with their own data, it's all shit. So there's a huge business opportunity around that dirty data. The problem is, and all of us that have ever dealt with dirty data, is it's just shitty work.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing fun about cleaning up a pile of shitty data. There's just no fun aspect to it, Yeah.
There's a crowd in the UK, an ISV called Data8, and I just saw some of their stuff in Amsterdam, actually, at the last user group summit there, and then more recently I had a demo from them, and they've got some pretty slick tools that sit right inside the UI of CDS that allows you to do a lot of cleanup of your data. Top-notch little product.
CDS or is it Dynamics? Is it just Dynamics or is it CDS?
It's definitely Dynamics, because I was demo to in the old UI, which, as you can imagine, I scolded them on. But as far as I know, it is CDS aware, and they're seeing massive demand. And the beauty of it works so simply, but it's very, very sophisticated piece of software that they've built. So I think you're going to see a lot more from them. The other company that kind of comes to mind, just in case any of you cynics there are thinking these are paid placements or anything, who was that crowd out of America that Microsoft had the relationship that severed quickly and then came back online around January this year? Inside View. Their business is doing a massive pivot to data cleansing and ongoing real-time data cleansing in organizations. And this is, as I say, they see that the AI future is driving those type of changes.
Yeah, there's definitely some companies that are positioned well for that data cleanup that already had some products in the market that all of a sudden they got to just be, bouncing on their toes about all this AI talk, because they know that doesn't go anywhere without clean data. And up until now, people have just worked around dirty data.
Yeah,
they're positioned well. I mean, I'd love to have some investment in one of those things.
Yeah.
So, it's funny because you talk about, we just mentioned the ISVs, and one of the things that really needs to happen with some of these ISVs is disconnecting themselves from those first party apps where they can. They're really going to be limiting themselves. That new licensing we talked about that came out last week, there's the potential there for not just ISVs to build solutions, but for customers to be able to build solutions.
Yeah.
$10 a piece, right? A full model driven app with a Canvas app in there and a portal, all of that for $10 per user. You can build, Microsoft is positioning it as this is for that. We want to be able to seed that first workflow, seed first Power App in a company. But there's no limit on, that first Power App has to be small and simple. I mean, it's a model driven application on CDS, which can be as complicated as all of Dynamics customer engagement is today if it wants to be. I mean, there's no requirement or limit there that, this can only be built into a simple app. That can be built into a significantly elaborate app for $10, So that's, I think, an interesting piece that we'll see how they react to. The whole 92% thing has gotten a lot of traction out there and gotten some folks definitely thinking about these kind of unintended consequences. And I was talking to a Microsoft person the other day, one of the industry lead folks, and about that. And they definitely feel, at least his team does, that we're going to sell 100 $10 licenses for every one $100 license we used to sell.
Yeah.
So they definitely see it as a huge, not a loss. I mean, fine. And when we still got Microsoft on calls yesterday, which you can't get into the details of the call other than them confirming what I've already said and known and talked about out there is you can build whatever the hell you want to build on CDS. Yep. There is zero limit. Yep. The restricted entities, which people seem to be conflating with CDS, have nothing to do with it. Restricted entities only have to do with if you have Dynamics. Building an app on that data set. But when you're over here on CDS without any first party apps, you can build anything you want to build. If you want to directly copy every single part of their case entity, right down to the spelling in the fields and every aspect of it, knock yourself out. And that just opens a pretty huge door out there. I'll get off the soapbox. I know I've talked about that one many, many times. But we do have another.
I tell you what. We had a lady. I'll tell you her name. Her name was Cindy. Cindy Hast. She's a Dynamics 365 CRM, customer engagement, functional consultant, business analyst, coming from Newcastle in the United Kingdom. And she asked a question after last week's session when I said, hey, flick through your questions, let us know, how we can help. So she had a question around field service and scheduling in that respect. Is anyone on the call that perhaps could jump in and answer that question? Now would be a good time to jump on and really perhaps we'll run through the question and perhaps you might be able to answer that. So we'll just wait a second, see if we've got hello. We have Antti. How are you, mate?
Yeah, hey. How's it going, guys?
Antti, how's it going, man?
Pretty good.
Excellent. Okay, now do you have that question from Cindy there?
Sure, I do. So her question was about the schedule board, and she said that it's a bit clunky and a bit slow and a bit tardy. And by the way, this is coming back like a few seconds late. Is this normal?
Yeah,
You're
yeah. Don't
fine, you're
listen.
fine.
Yeah, turn off the speaker on the YouTube because there's a 20-second delay on there. That'll mess you up.
All right.
Are we talking about the schedule board that is part of the resource scheduling engine, or is this something?
Yes. Yeah, we are.
And that's used by more than just PSA and field service, right? That's available once it's in for any sort of scheduling thing.
It is. Yeah, it's actually part of field service, PSA, and customer service these days.
All right, cool. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify for everybody what exact schedule board we were talking about.
Yeah, that's fine. This is actually kind of funny and challenging because I'm still hearing a loop back a few seconds late, so I'm doing double repetitions here.
All good. We'll let you go. You go for it. You answer the question because I know you've done some research on this one.
I'll go for the question. Yeah. So a couple of things that I think are worth checking first is if there's any custom code that's kind of running in parallel with the out of the box plugins that are part of the universal resource scheduling, and then do you run it on the unified interface? That's naturally one of the things that when Dynamics is customer engagement is slow, try to switch to the unified interface because that's just a lot faster than the classic web client. And then if those still don't work and you still see that clunkiness, what I do is I look at how many resources are being pulled for your when you use your schedule assistant, how many resources are being pulled for your resource requirements, because if you're trying to pull, let's say 500, 1,000 resources against your requirement, that'll take a lot of bandwidth from URS, and it'll just slow down a bit. And naturally, if your work orders are long, if they're longer than the standard, maybe 2 hours, 2 days or something, if they're in the weeks or in the months, then you will expect some delays in your search queries. So those are two things that I'd start with, kind of from the engineering point and the engineering side from the product group. This is what I heard, that they are doing a lot of work on the URS, so they are improving its speed, and they're really working hard on that. So down the line in the future, you will see some major improvements to the schedule board. So that's what's being happening in sometime down the line.
Cool,
Awesome,
man.
man. Thanks for that.
All right.
Appreciate you
it.
popping in. So, highly valuable information, incredibly boring. I guess you have to be, you definitely have to be deep in that space to find that whole conversation interesting at all. Sorry, Auntie.
So not your cup of tea then?
Not my cup of tea, apparently, yes. So.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Thanks, Auntie. I appreciate it. Okay. So, what else is on your agenda, mate, as in that you wanted to discuss today?
One of the things that's continuing to come up that is bothering me is this whole PowerApps thing. And you and I have talked about, PowerApps kind of started life over on the SharePoint Office 365 side, right? It was a Canvas app construct, really sitting over there on SharePoint. Didn't have anything to do with business applications. And there was a whole bunch of partners and developers out there that are on that side and have been on that side for a long time, building those kind of Power Apps. And as far as they're concerned, that's what a Power App is. Mm-hmm. And now we've got, Power Apps, kind of has moved over to the business applications group, right? And this model-driven platform that was the XRM platform was released, they decided, well, let's call that Power Apps too. So now we got these two really completely different things in my mind that are both called the same thing. And that's continuing to cause confusion, I think, with customers and partners. I was reading on, of course, we've got our NDA list here, a mail list, so I can't really go into it, but there was a comment here from a partner. I won't mention who he is, but he just said that this is basically complaining about the new licensing, because I think if you came from the Dynamics side of Power Apps with the model-driven apps, this new pricing of the $10 per app is pretty incredible. It's pretty mind-boggling, and that opens lots of doors. But if you came from the other side, the SharePoint and Office 365 side, they're looking at this as being a massive potential cost increase and can completely blow up their whole business model.
Yep.
Microsoft still seems hell-bent on, we're going to merge these two technologies into something, into a common thing with a common licensing model. But it's definitely challenging. And one of the guys on there said something about, my customers have no interest in model-driven apps at all. And my first thought was, what do you mean your customers don't have any? I mean, what you really meant to say is you have no interest.
Yeah.
Probably because you have no knowledge.
Yeah.
Of model-driven. So you're not even bringing it up to your customer. The customer, model-driven or Canvas, the customer doesn't give a shit about what technologies use. They have a problem to solve my problem with whatever it is you're using. So, but it was just so interesting how you definitely have these two distinct camps. These folks that came out of the SharePoint side that don't know anything about CDS or model-driven, and then guys like me, frankly, that came out of the model-driven side, and I don't know jack shit about SharePoint and Office 365.
I think that came from two areas. It wasn't just SharePoint. I think it's think that were using PowerApps on top of SQL directly as well. I think those are the two audiences that this kind of shakeup is creating a bit of concern for them. But once again, I feel it's an education thing. It's kind of like the technology is evolving. If you're being in that camp, I would never say, you would never hear me say that SharePoint isn't the right solution to use. Even though I've come from a Dynamics background, is that it comes back to horses for courses, right?
Yep.
I use SharePoint every day, right? Especially now that it's embedded into Teams, right? I use it constantly. It wouldn't be a day goes past that I'm not using SharePoint. And what it does is fantastic. But in the past, it was used to create a lot of other things as well. And that was a tool set was available. But, I don't want to be driving a 50-year-old car, right? Unless it's a classic, different story. Right. But what I'm saying is that I want to use the modern technology for the modern business. And so therefore, if that means I need to learn a new skill and a new technology and a new product, I need to learn that because I want to stay relevant. I just don't believe in IT, that you can sit on your laurels and go, I have learned everything I need to know about IT and I'm done.
Yep,
right?
Yep.
And I wasn't, I started out NT4 Linux before that. If I'd said, okay, that's it, I know NT4 inside out, I don't need to go any further, mate. I'd, dinosaur, unemployable within no time at all. Huh?
You wouldn't be here today, that's for sure.
No, not a chance.
No, I think, it's interesting because I can remember kind of early days when we came over from Salesforce and we're new to Dynamics, and SharePoint was out there. We'd have customers that would be talking about, well, we need a CRM and we can't decide whether we should do it in SharePoint or Dynamics.
Yeah.
Well, why would you build a CRM in SharePoint?
Yeah.
As opposed to just use the CRM? Well, there was a good reason. SharePoint was included.
Yeah.
They already had SharePoint. They got SharePoint with their Office 365 license. It was just sitting there, already paid for. Dynamics, I don't think you can argue you're going to make a better CRM out of Dynamics than you would out of SharePoint. But, at the time it was like going to be $44 a head. So I think that SharePoint, one of the reasons SharePoint has been so successful is because, it's included.
Yeah.
It was there. It didn't cost, nobody had to go get a license. Nobody had to spend extra money to get it. I think it's one of the reasons that PowerApps took off so much when it first launched over on that Office 365 side, because it was also included, right? There wasn't any cost. We talk about guys like Keith Watley from the bus company building all those apps, and the guy from Heathrow, he built all those apps. They didn't have to pay for anything to build all those apps. It was already there.
Yeah.
To go build those now in model driven or something, now there's a new cost. So that's going to be the big scream uproar we're going to hear from folks right now. It's this thing that was previously kind of included and free. Yep, Megan, good point. Salaries, but there wasn't any license of those. Now we're going to be looking at a cost for that.
Yeah. Yeah, as Megan just said in the comments there, just his salaries, that was the cost.
Yep.
Yeah, so
And
true.
there's been a lot of, I see lots of rhetoric around, bait and switch and this and the other. And I don't know. I'm not a big fan personally. Maybe it's because of my own model-driven bias of mixing these two. I think that Canvas should have been called one thing and model-driven should have been called something else. And they should have their own paths. They talk to each other fine, just like they talk to teams, just like they talk to anything else. But I didn't see the reason to. Let's take these two different things and merge them into a single thing.
Yeah.
Stick them under the same banner. They could have handled it the same way they do with Teams, Outlook, where these things still talk and work together. Maybe even share some data source. But
yeah, I think that their vision is a single maker experience, if you like, with various data sources. So really, like what you've got with Power BI, right, is a single canvas, if you like, that you can work on, but multiple data sources behind it. All I think we're going to get to is that the maker experience and the canvas layer, and I'm not meaning canvas apps, I'm meaning the bit that we visualize on screen, the single pane of glass, if you like, will be a cohesive experience. I think it's because this has kind of been an evolving vision that's really growing up quite quickly. I think that's what we're dealing with, these changes, so this uncertainty. And here's the other thing, like the bait and switch question. You got to understand and ask yourself a very simple question here. Is Microsoft, based on what we know the history of Microsoft is, especially in the last 5 years, are they the type of company that does bait and switching? In my mind, I don't think so, right? I've not come across, and the people that I've worked with in Microsoft, that type of mentality. They're not out to screw anybody, do anybody a disservice, make money where they, they are after making money, and they are a professional organization, and so they should be, right? They're not a charity. They have a philanthropy arm that deals with that part of it. So I just think this is practical, right? They've got to turn a dollar for what they're doing. I think they're making it as economical and available to as many as possible, but we can't expect that just like technology is evolving, licensing has to evolve as well. Would we like them to make it maybe once every 2 years, the licensing discussion? I don't know if it's possible in the world we live in. I think the cost modeling of these things are changing so rapidly. The cost of CPU, compute time, storage, all these type of things, even, electricity is constantly changing. Now, I would have thought it would have all been going downhill, as in, a race to zero. And as we see, you get so much benefit under Office 365 E3 or E5 license and what that costs. I think that there's this balancing going on at the moment, but I don't think in the balancing that it requires us to get crazy emotional about it and throw out the rhetoric around, even though I'm good at doing that.
Yes. Yeah.
I just think that, or maybe it's because it's not affecting me so much that I can kind of say that. But that leads us on to another topic, which was Mike Hartley asked me to bring this up, which was, I wrote that article last week. I said it was coming, spam managed solution posts, and it got a lot of reaction. It's got a lot of reaction on Twitter, LinkedIn, all the various channels.
So what do you mean? Nobody likes spam? Are you saying people aren't liking the crapware?
Yeah.
Huh. Surprising.
Even the image, that I used of an overflowing garbage can attack, I think, But anyhow, so what's been the play out from that? A range of people, Microsoft people included, got in touch with me in back channels. And they've assured me that that is all changing. That first run experience for new customers, etc., are changing. The interesting thing is what
this wasn't a trial environment.
Hey?
And to clarify, this was not a trial environment.
This was a trial environment. This was the first run experience from a trial. Now, as somebody, I'll give you an example. I was doing some pre-sales on a big project up against Salesforce. Sorry, you can take the word big out of there. I had a project up against Salesforce. And I was presenting second. In other words, Salesforce was doing the demo first. Yeah. They had their cut the day before. I came in and I was presenting our, Dynamics 365 and presenting that. And the CEO really wanted to make sure that it integrated effectively with Outlook. That was his goal, and he was the ultimate decision maker, even though there was many other minions in the room. Anyhow, I've always believed, and it's probably from doing training around Demo to Win, is that if you make something look complex and it's complex to you, it's going to be way complex to the first time looker or customer, right? And so I always saw my goal in pre-sales was to make this stuff look simple, that anybody could do it, because I want the customer's mind to go, wow, that's so easy. Our way is so complicated. You made that look so easily. So the minute you clutter a UI with stuff totally unrelated to what you're demoing, talking to the customer, showing, it creates confusion. And so what I was showing there in that post was I asked for sales only. And because I had actually just done a presentation in London here to a financial institution around sales, and I was like, what is all this crap that's in here? I want to show a simple financial model, but I've got stuff about field service and project service automation. And all that does to a customer is go, wow, this looks a busy interface. There's a lot going on here. I don't even know where to focus. That's bad.
It's funny. The worst demo I ever saw that I just sat in on, another partner giving a demo, they literally clicked on each item in the menu and each item in the ribbon to explain to the customer every single, the CEO ended up cutting the guy off after about a half an hour because it was clear it was going to go on for, I don't know what, days. I don't know. But clicking on every single button as though he thought that's where the value to the customer would be is what's behind every single one of those. Just completely missed that whole point.
Yeah.
The other thing, and I think you and I have talked about this, I know personally, I don't know if we've talked about it on the live stream before, is the Microsoft sellers that will be out there with a customer, and we get involved in several of those deals where we're demoing to a customer maybe one of our solutions, which are already dead dumb simple to begin with on purpose, and the customer's getting it. They're all smiling. You can see they're clearly on the right path. And then the Microsoft folks feel like they have to interject with, have you guys seen LinkedIn Sales Navigator? Or
I can see the salesperson from Microsoft in my mind's eye right now when you said that.
Give me a break. Take what you got.
We're nuts, right? Nuts. Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts about AI? Oh my! If you could point the gun through the phone and shoot the guy, you would. You're killing the deal here for no reason. There's this eagerness, I think, there's an eagerness on Microsoft sellers' part to try and sell as much as possible, as quickly as possible. I get that.
Yeah.
And then there's also a ignorance on new partners or younger folks, maybe new to the ecosystem, doing demos, feeling like they have to show every single feature there is. Instead of really knowing the customer, and let's just show them the things that we know will excite them, and we're going to gloss over. I've gone through, a 30-minute demo with a customer without even getting off of opportunity, without talking about anything else that's in there, because that was all that needed to be discussed to get them to go forward. There's plenty of time to bring all that other stuff in.
It's often immaturity around understanding the sale. You've got to read the room in a sale. When you're presenting, you've got to read the minute, as I say, with that girl, it's a medical company, and she threw that out at the end of the demo. We're all wrapping up and said, oh, why don't you show them X, Y, and Z? And I'm just like, what? There's nothing to do. Honestly, I remember my business partner looking to him and just going, what the hell did she just ask for? Because that has nothing to do with what we're proposing here to this customer. But I assume she had heard in the sales meeting earlier that week, we need to be pushing this, we need to be showing, but have context. Is it in line with what the customer is after?
I remember years ago in a different business that I was involved in, but still I had a business partner, and we would still have to go out and do presentations to customers. And he was the guy who would do the presentation of the PowerPoint deck, right? Go through all of our projects and stuff. And so he would spend most of his time kind of looking up at his slides and turning back to the audience. And My job was kind of to sit there and watch the people in the room to gauge, and you could just see as a slide would go up, you know, their interest raised, and then some other slide or a point in the slide where it kind of falls, and you could see it if you're looking at them. And that ended up being my job, not intentionally on his part. He would have just gone through the whole thing regardless, but my job was to kind of interrupt and say, you know, when I saw them losing interest, you know, to try and change the subject, when I saw them getting more interested, to keep him from moving off of that. Let's go deeper on this one. You know, it's like you just watch their excitement level. You're trying to maintain it at this level, not let it get dragged down in the mud. And not once they're getting excited, oh, let's switch the subject and talk about something else. You keep drilling into that, you know. And you know, Mark, as a seller, right? Once you get yes, you leave.
That's it. I tell you, on that project I was taking with Salesforce there, you know, I demoed that, and the CEO goes, "That's exactly what we needed." And I was like, I had my full demo ready to go. And I was like, "Was there anything else that we needed to cover?" And he was like, "No, those Salesforce guys were in yesterday. It looks so complicated, their product. This is what we need." 15 minutes later, we're wrapping up and they're organizing the paperwork.
Yep. I don't know how many sales guys I have seen that, you know, they get the sale and then they end up keep talking and talk themselves right out of it.
Yeah.
You know, customers ready to go. Yeah, this is awesome. Let's sign it up. Yeah, it is. Did I also tell you about this other feature? Yeah. And they just keep talking until the customer suddenly gets, oh, well, this is a little more complex than I thought. Maybe we need to think about it. You know, just talk themselves right out of that deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Know when to shut up, folks. Know when to shut up.
Another question I had this week was from an ISV, and they were asking about embedded license costs. Where can you find embedded license if you're an ISV? How do you get embedded license costs? You know, as in, so they could quote on you know, their ISV solution. What do you know about embedded licenses?
I know quite a bit about that one. You know,
CDS.
Yep. Well, it's the same across the stack. The ISV embed, regardless of whether you've got it on sales, service, field service, PowerApps, wherever you have an embedded license. It is an OEM license.
Yeah.
Which, while technically it is the same thing as the underlying license, right? A enterprise sales embed license versus an enterprise sales license is the exact same license. But since you're getting, as an ISV, that embed, you're getting a special price. Typically, it's about half of the price for that embed license. It's not a full-featured right. So the idea is you have built an ISV solution. So there's no embed play for the Connect guys. And not much of one really for the Extend guys, unless they completely consume the app. It definitely is mostly a build angle, although there's plenty of those folks that are still out there. But if for you take our Rapid Start, for example, which is built on P2, and we have embed for P2. If I sell that license, well, I said we sell our Rapid Start to a customer, it includes that license bundled in as part of that single subscription. That customer can't use that P2 license that I sold them as part of Rapid Start for anything other than Rapid Start.
Yeah.
They can't use that to just go, now, oh, I'm going to use this P2 and go build some other PowerApps for some other purposes. They would need the full license for that. So that.
Oh, I didn't realize that. So you're saying that it really is, well, you wouldn't use the P2 SKU then, as in what we have now, right? We'd use what's been proposed coming up, and you'd use a single app.
Well, I will once that's up, right? That's not out until October. So for now we have the P2.
Yeah.
But it's a P2 with an asterisk, right? Yeah. The P2 that comes with my ISV solution has an asterisk next to it that it can only be used with my ISV solution. Yeah. And that's because it's half price. You know, I mean, it's a half price SKU. Now that doesn't mean if the customer's like, well, we want your app, but we also want to build our own apps. Okay, fine. Then I can't sell you this embed SKU for $20. I got to sell you the full P2 for $40 that has all of those rights.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of confusion about that. And also one of the things that is coming up as a potential issue that's being explored now is, let's say I sold you a solution on dynamic sales with my embed SKU half price, right? For whatever it is. And then let's say you as a customer want to buy another solution from another vendor to put on your same instance that is also an ISV embed vendor. So how do they deal with that scenario? Because there's some issues there. At the moment, it's kind of first guy in, sold the license.
Mm-mm.
But technically, it's in violation now because the license that I sold you was to be used with my IP, not with this other person's IP. So there's some little funkiness going on with the ISV embed that they've got to sort out. Some of that goes away, of course. In our scenario, it goes away completely with this per app per user, because ours has always been, per app per user. It's just been the $40 SKU, and now I'll be able to do it with a $10 SKU.
Yeah.
Getting ISV embed, I don't know what the procedure is today. We've had it for a couple of years. At the time, that was before a lot of things came out, and they were trying to push that ISV embed. When they came out with this new program around revenue sharing, the whole new ISV model, ISV embed is not part of that at the moment because it doesn't really reconcile with what that model is designed for. I got the sense that they didn't want to grow that ISV embed hill any higher in case they needed to somehow move it as a result of this whole ISV motion. I don't know if that's still the case, or if so what I'm hearing is ISV embed is not going away.
Yeah.
Which a while back I was hearing, you've got like
Correct.
a while, but eventually it's going away. Now I'm hearing it's not going away.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I answered any questions for anybody asking. About ISV embed.
I think that was good. I mean, I definitely learned some stuff there. Some we've only got we've got 9 minutes left. So things. What are your plans for User Group Summit Extreme Orlando? Have you made any progress in that space?
So yes, I'll be speaking at the exchange, the Extreme, what do they call it? Executive Exchange.
Executive Exchange, yeah.
Me and some Microsofties will be up there talking. I'm going to moderate a panel on ISV stuff for that group.
Yep.
And then I'm doing something else. I can't remember what it is for the actual rest of Extreme, the normal Extreme. I don't know that I'm doing anything at the moment for UG itself, which is.
Yeah, you are.
Well, yes, I am, but not part of.
You and me are running a pub. You and me are running a pub quiz.
I forgot about the pub quiz. Oh my God.
Epic pub quiz.
The pub quiz is going to be that's going to be a riot, I think. Yeah. I think that has the potential to be either a bomb or just an absolute riot. So
I'm pretty confident it won't be a bomb after being involved in the one in London recently. Everybody, it just brings out a different side to people, and I tell you, everybody's keen to be involved. It's great.
And you got that thing rearranged on the schedule to where it occurs like right before the alcohol, right?
That's it, right before the event kind of function, so where all the alcohol be flowing. So you can basically flow out of that session, finish all your beers there, and then straight into the main hors d'oeuvres and cocktail event. And
we're going to be doing our live.
We got live stream signed off, so therefore we're going to be live streaming. So listen, anybody that's listening or watching on Playback, what was that?
We're the only ones that'll be live streaming, right?
Yeah, as far as I know. So if you've got specific people you want us to get, like if there's people in the product team that you would love us to get on air for the live stream, we're setting up our meetings at the moment with who the guests will be that are coming on the show. And if you've got specific questions for them, we'll mention your name, etc., get you live on there, and we'll be streaming, pretty much throughout that event when we're not actually speaking at it. So make sure you keep your let us know. Like, as I say, if you're watching this in after the fact, as in the playback on YouTube, let us know. Hit us up on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, whatever you want. We will see it. We'll see those comments, and we'll engage.
Charles Lamana, we got somebody already asking. Yeah, he's definitely on my list to talk to. I've got another pod coming up with him when he gets back from vacation.
Yep.
And with so much stuff that's happened here since Inspire and his vacation, all the announcements, should be some pretty interesting stuff. But we'll definitely want to get him on the live as well. I'm sure he'll be in Orlando. That's the other thing is, we can only grab people that are going to be there. So
yeah,
let us know. We'll make sure we find out if they're going to be in Orlando, and then
Yeah, I know quite a solid contingent from the product team are going. So I expect all those seniors, which are Charles Lamanna,
Yeah.
Ryan Cunningham, Ryan Jones, Steven Siciliano. They're all a given. And then there's going to be another whole layer of people also that I expect will be coming along.
Yep, I agree. So, and what we're going to be, if anybody's curious about what that format looks like, we're going to be doing something similar to what we did at Business Applications Summit, which is on your YouTube channel. If they scroll down a little bit, they'll see the
playlist.
The playlist from that, and that's kind of the format of what we're going to be doing. Mark will be doing a little more talking this year because last year he was we had technical difficulties on the first day, and the second day you were a little under the weather. So this year,
wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, yeah. This year we'll be splitting it up a little more evenly. So,
looks like a request for Keith Watling to be on. Is that Keith Watling that Auntie you're asking for?
I'm gonna guess so.
He's saying Keith W, but
Yep.
LinkedIn, whoever's Dr. and what is it? Dr. and Rupp.
Dr. Randrup.
Yeah, best channel would be LinkedIn Messenger. Hit either Steve or Rupp on LinkedIn Messenger.
Yep. Cool, man.
Alrighty. Well, let's consider wrapping up the show. We'll go to our live stream outro, just so people know how to connect with us in future. And otherwise, we'll just let me just see it actually.
All right, cool. And I guess we'll see you guys all next week.
Ciao, ciao.